Hi guys, this is Obi Outdoors here, and this is a Hennessy 4-season hammock. This is the Explorer. This is a standard size that comes in XL. I picked this standard size just purely for the fact that I'm 5'10" and it's cheaper. Why not? If you're over 6 foot, you would want to go for the XL version. Now I'm doing this video, as the title probably explains, this is a year-long review. I've had this since November 2022, it's now January 2024. So this is just over a year, but I wanted to come back and just say an honest opinion of what I think of this hammock after just over a year of having it. Now if you follow my channel, you know that I use this hammock all of the time, and there's a good reason for it. I can set it up now within 5 minutes with a few adjustments that I'm going to go through with you in a second. And I know that it's always comfortable, it's always been reliable in all types of weather. It's just what I know and love, and I should really explore other products or other ways of camping, and I do a little bit, but if I know that I need to get out and I quickly set up, or if I'm in a place where I'm not familiar, the ground, you don't know whether it's going to be flat, you can always rely on a hammock. So if I just open this up for you, just so you can see what the sleeping compartment looks like. It is a red inside, which I don't know how I feel about the red. I don't know if it's a bit in your face, it's not very subtle, it's not very stealth, but it's the inside, so I don't really have any strong feelings. But it is quite large, as you can tell. This does fold all the way back. You've got your ridge line here as well, which they've given you a compartment, 2 hang compartments here, and a little hook for your light. There is a string, or should I say a bungee, that you can attach to a hook, and that just keeps that apart. Now this is pretty wide, and you will sleep diagonally across like this. Now this took me a little while to figure out myself, probably a little bit too long, but what I found is it's where it's a double skin, this is where the foam mat lays across. So I was trying to work out a way in which to lay, and I found if you just follow where the mat is, bit self-explanatory I know, that is the most comfortable lay. I have added the space blanket that they include into this just to bring the comfort temperatures down. So I've had this in -2 degrees before, and I've been quite cozy. Another feature that I do like about this is you have these extenders. This is elasticated rope, and it doesn't come with pegs, which is maybe a little bit of a bugbear of mine, but I mean it's easy enough if you're out in the woods. There's plenty of sticks that you can use as pegs, and this just helps. You got them either side, and this just helps spread it out a bit. And with some hammocks you have spreader bars. This works quite well. I think spreader bars are a little bit pain-free in terms of the amount of times I've tripped over these, and the amount of times people I'm camping with have tripped over these. That is a pain. Maybe I could put some luminous tape on it, or reflective tape, maybe that'll help, but all in all I'm glad I've got it, because it just stops it from squeezing on your shoulders, which I know a lot of hammocks, that is an issue. It does come with, or I got 3 snake skins. I think all orders from Hennessy come with 3 snake skins, which does help. I've found since adding the mat and the foil space blanket, it is hard to do up, and I've added one on either side just to try and help do that up. So now we come on to the part where I tell you about some of the modifications that I've made, and they're not groundbreaking. They are fairly basic, they're fairly cheap as well. Nothing that I've done is expensive. What I have done is taken some daisy chain webbing from an old hammock that I had, a hammock that I started with, and this is so much easier to set up your hammock rather than the rope that they give you. There's no sort of real adjustment without taking it off. So that's the first one that I've made. Now, when I was at the Bushcraft show last year, so 23, there was a DD stand, and what I did find, and what everyone has recommended to me, is whoopee slings. Now, the concept is quite confusing until you get it. All I did was take this apart. This was just done by some cable tie, which I've redone, and I've just added in the whoopee sling. I'm not going to show you how to do that, but there are videos out there. But what this does is just increase or decrease the time in which that you're setting up. Now this is probably being one of the best improvements that I've made, and it is just so inexpensive. I got a whole kit from the DD store for £25. I'm sure there are some like real off the market ones that you can get. Now, excuse me whilst I try and explain this, and I am going to pull up Google to help me out for this. So the way in which this works, as Google would tell you, by adjusting the size of the eye in the rope through the choker, the user is able to adjust the length of the sling, constricting around the tree without needing knots. Now, I don't know if that made sense to you, but it doesn't fully for me. I've got this pretty taut. This is probably how I would have it, just so you can sort of sit down and you're well off the ground. Sometimes the hammock does sink a bit, or it shifts, the ropes shift a little bit, but you want to have it quite high so you're sat with your knees bent, almost in a sitting position. Now, if I wanted to have this looser, I would grab the string, take the tension off, pull the string like so, and it's getting lower now. If I wanted to do it like that, I would run my fingers along the string here, the main part, and that tightens it. Now, in order to bring this back up, I pull this string and up it goes. Now, where I've got this attached to the carabiner, I want to have a little bit of gap just so I can get that undone if needed. But just like that, that stops it from slipping, and that is strong as anything. Show you again. Loosen that off, run my fingers along just to cinch that. Dead strong. I mean, it's simple stuff, but just really quite effective, and you know, takes no time at all with your setup. Now, I'm not sponsored by Hennessy in the slightest. I bought this. I bought this in a winter sale that they had on, and I've loved it ever since. And since making the improvements and the modifications, my setup time is under 5 minutes. What I do is I don't use the tarp that you can buy with it. I saved my money because I had a DD 3x3, and what I do is just attach it to the carabiners, and that works just fine for me. But you can obviously create another ridge line at top, but I just use the DD and I just attach it to each of the carabiners where they're positioned, and that works just fine. What I will say is, on one of the strings that I've got here, it has frayed, and it frayed within the first few times. I should get into contact really. I'm sure that they would send me out another string, but I just haven't. There isn't really a lot of downside that I can say about this, other than the fact that this is a little bit of a trip hazard. There is a sale on at the moment, 20% off. I looked on the website when looking at specifications, but yeah, this is my year-long review. And if you've got any other questions, just let me know, because this is a bit of kit that I've used religiously, and I really do swear by it. I should be sponsored by Hennessy really at this point, because I've got nothing but good things to say about them. I use a 4-season sleeping bag, and during the winter months like now, I would use a sleeping bag liner. If it gets below sort of in the minuses, I would start to think about getting a under quilt and an under blanket. I would only get like a lightweight one, like a really easy one, because this does all the heavy lifting. But I'd say just to maybe add 5 degrees, English degrees centigrade, I would look at getting a lightweight under quilt, which I've already got, to be fair, but yeah, just something really easy just to clip onto. But for the most part, from like 0 degrees centigrade, maybe like minus one or two, you're fine with like a good sleeping bag and some quilted clothes. Thanks for watching, guys. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section below, and if you want to see more of my hammocking content, you know where to follow and you know where to see it. Thanks for watching, guys. Till the next time.